Why are you here? There is one truth that all enlightened masters agree on. No event in life is accidental. If you happen to stop, see this video, read these words, it is not a coincidence. It is part of the flow of karma and cosmic grace that has brought you here. Paramahansa Yogananda once taught, "This universe is a giant school. Every soul is a student, and every experience, whether happy or painful, is a lesson designed to awaken you to the ultimate truth. You are not the body. You are the eternal soul." This statement opens a great door to knowledge. Our life is essentially a series of tests, and when you see this video, it means that you have passed the most important tests, the final stops to spiritual freedom, the ultimate tests of the universe, the journey through Maya, ego, and unity. No progress is accidental, no obstacle is meaningless. All are carefully arranged as cosmic tests to measure your level of awareness and courage. Yogananda has revealed this secret. Every soul must pass 3 great exams, 3 final doors, before returning to its eternal divine self. 1. The test of matter Maya, the first seductive illusion. Maya, the great illusion, is the veil that makes people identify themselves with the body and the material world. In the early stages, the soul is attracted to flashy things: money, fame, power, sensual pleasures. This is the most obvious trap, but also the most difficult to overcome, because it directly attacks the survival instinct and natural desires of humans. Yogananda once said, "The soul forgets its divine nature because it runs after the temporary pleasures of the world. Maya tempts man like a flame attracts a moth." Overcoming Maya does not mean denying matter, but using matter as a means, not letting it control the soul. A person who has passed this test can live in the world but not belong to the world, enjoy but not be bound, possess but not be a slave. 2. The test of the ego, the subtle chain of I. If Maya is a rough trap, then the ego is a trap 1,000 times more subtle. When people have overcome material constraints, they easily fall into pride. Pride in having practiced, in having profound knowledge, in possessing spiritual powers. But it is this spiritual self that is the final barrier, the most difficult to break. Ahamkara makes us think, "I am enlightened. I am a knower of the way. I am superior to others." And at that moment, the soul has left the light. Yogananda emphasized, "One can conquer desire, one can give up wealth, but as long as the ego still exists, one is not free from the cycle of rebirth. Only when we are humble enough to see ourselves as a drop of water in the ocean, no longer distinguishing between I and others, can we truly break the chains of the ego." 3. The test of unity Samadhi test, the final gateway to the infinite. When the soul has escaped from matter and ego, it reaches the final door. The Samadhi test, dissolution into the great self. This is no ordinary test, but a confrontation with absolute emptiness. The soul must then experience cosmic loneliness, as if everything familiar has disappeared, the feeling of losing all support, having nothing left to cling to, the fear of dissolving itself, like a drop of water having to merge into the vast ocean. Those who are brave enough to step through will realize they have never been lost, but have been an endless ocean since eternity. Why did you overcome it? Your presence here is not by chance. If these words touch your heart, it means that you have passed at least part of these levels of challenge. That does not mean you have become a saint, but it shows you have clearly seen the impermanence of matter. no longer blindly chasing after desires. You have awakened to the game of the ego, knowing that knowledge, fame, and the role of a monk are just a cloak. Are you ready to face the vast void? Not running away, not being afraid, but opening your heart to it as the door to freedom. In Autobiography of a Yogi, Yogananda writes, "Only when man has lost the fear of loss, has lost the desire to possess, will the gates of heaven be opened to him. Eternity is not for him who clings." How does the universe test us? Imagine the universe as a giant school. No one can pass a class without passing a test. And the amazing thing is, each soul has its own exam, written from its own karma, desires, and free choices. One must experience loss to learn the lesson of unconditional love. Another must face betrayal to learn forgiveness. Another must go through extreme loneliness to learn to rely on God. Different exams, but the same goal, to bring us closer to the self. The philosophy of the final exam in the light of yoga. In Kriya Yoga, the path Yogananda taught, the final exam is called the dissolution of the breath. When the practitioner reaches the peak of Kriya, the breath becomes subtle, then disappears. The body is no longer a prison, but a boat carrying the soul out to sea. At that moment, a challenge appears. If there is still fear, the practitioner returns to the cycle of reincarnation. If there is enough detachment, the practitioner experiences samadhi, merging with the infinite light. Krishna once said in the Bhagavad Gita, "He who, when leaving the body, thinks of anything other than me, he will be reborn according to that thought. But he who remembers me alone, he will attain me." Yogananda explained, the final test does not take place only at the moment of death, but takes place in every present moment. Each time you let go of an attachment, you pass a small test. Step by step, breath by breath, you move closer to the greatest test, total renunciation. Signs you have passed the final test. How can one know that one has passed the most rigorous tests the universe has sent? According to Yogananda, the only sign and undeniable proof is the radical transformation within you. These manifestations do not come from effort, but naturally emerge. 1. Peace in the midst of storms, the immovable foundation of the soul. You know that you have passed the final threshold when your inner peace is no longer shaken by any external events. People may praise you or slander you, but your heart remains as calm as the surface of an autumn lake. Prosperity and suffering may come and go, but you no longer lose yourself in those ups and downs. Yogananda once taught, "He who is united with God lives in an ocean of peace, even when the storms of the world rage around him." 2. No longer afraid of death, a transcendent view of life. Another obvious sign is that the fear of death disappears. For you, death is not the end, but only a door that opens to a new realm, where the soul returns to its eternal home. You no longer cling to the fragile body, because you know, "I am not this body. I am the eternal light." Death, which is the greatest obsession of humanity, is now just a natural migration of the soul. 3. Unconditional love. The heart has no boundaries. When you pass the final test, the love in you becomes undemanding, unconditional. You no longer love only your family, friends, or those who bring you benefits. Your heart expands to include all living beings, from humans to plants, from animals to those who have hurt you. That love is the divine flow of God through you. You are no longer the possessor of love, but the conduit through which eternal love flows. 4. Live freely, unchained by material things and fame. A soul that has passed the final test is one who lives in the world without being bound by the world. Wealth may come and go, but you no longer fear loss. Fame may come and go, but you no longer let it define you. Success and failure are but passing waves on the ocean of your stillness. Yogananda calls this state inner freedom, a freedom that no material prison can hold, no earthly circumstance can take away. 5. Desire for God, the only fire that still burns, the final and highest sign. All your desires are gone, leaving only one flame, the desire for God. You may still live, work, love, but deep down, everything else is just a means, and your ultimate goal is union with the Source. Nothing can satisfy you except the experience of the infinite presence. Yogananda once affirmed, when a soul yearns for God alone, nothing else can divert it. That is the sign that it is on the threshold of liberation. The path to maintaining the enlightened state after passing the ultimate tests of the universe is not the end. Yogananda once taught, a moment of enlightenment may come to you, but the important thing is how to make it a permanent state of the soul. The journey of cultivating enlightenment is a lifelong lesson, where perseverance, discipline, and love of God become companions. 1. Maintain awareness through every breath. Yogananda emphasized continuous awareness, a state in which you observe yourself in every moment. It is not only meditation that is meditation, but all of life is meditation. When you eat, you are aware that this energy is a gift from God. When you work, you keep peace and focus, not letting your mind run wild. When you communicate, you observe your emotions, keeping love in your eyes and words. Only in this way can the light you have found not be dimmed by the turmoil of the world. 2. Nurture enlightenment through the practice of meditation. Like a fire, if it is not fueled, it will die out. Meditation is the source of energy that nourishes the soul, keeping the flame of enlightenment burning brightly. Yogananda gave the world Kriya Yoga, an ancient meditation method that helps the flow of life energy, prana, in harmony, purifying the body, mind, spirit. One who has passed the final test cannot be negligent, but must maintain the discipline of meditation every day, like the way a great musician still practices to maintain his finesse. 3. Turn love into action. Enlightenment cannot be contained in ideas alone. It must permeate every act of love. The one who has overcome must learn to express unconditional love not only through thoughts, but also through simple actions. A smile of encouragement to someone in despair. A word of forgiveness to someone who has made a mistake. A sharing, however small, becomes a manifestation of God in human form. Yogananda reminds that when you act with love, you are serving God in every soul. 4. Keep your mind in humility. When you reach enlightenment, the most subtle trap is spiritual pride. Some souls, when they have gone through higher levels, unintentionally look down on others, thinking that they are higher. But Yogananda teaches, the measure of enlightenment is profound humility. The truly liberated person no longer needs to assert himself, but becomes simple, natural like water, like the wind. Humility helps maintain enlightenment because it prevents the ego from being reborn in another form. 5. Live with the desire for God. Maintaining enlightenment is to keep the flame of desire for God alive. As long as the heart is turned toward Him, every challenge becomes a means for the soul to advance further. Yogananda once prayed, "O Lord, never let me forget you, even when my mind is absorbed in the myriad affairs of the world." This is a simple prayer but also the greatest key. By placing God at the center, you will not lose the light you have attained. Thus, the journey after overcoming is no longer a fierce battle with darkness, but a preservation and nurturing of the inner light so that it illuminates not only yourself, but all humanity. The responsibility and mission of the Transcendent One to humanity. A Transcendent One no longer lives for himself. The light he receives from the Great Self becomes a sacred responsibility to enlighten souls who are still struggling in the darkness of ignorance. 1. The Transcendent One becomes the instrument of God. Yogananda often compared enlightened souls to an empty flute in the hands of God. Only when the ego is completely dissolved can God blow through them the melodies of love, of truth, of healing. Their mission no longer comes from personal will, but from a deep urge of the universe. They can teach meditation to sow the seeds of awakening. They can be silent to radiate peaceful energy without words. They can serve in very small ways, but through them, God acts to touch the souls of others. 2. Their light becomes a silent call. The transcendent do not need to declare their enlightenment. Their presence is a testimony in itself. When they sit still, others feel peace. When they speak, their words carry the weight of truth, cutting through doubts. When they love, it is no longer personal, but the infinite love of God flowing through. 3. Service to humanity is the path to maintaining enlightenment. A subtle paradox is, the more enlightened a person is, the more he needs to be connected to humanity, not to satisfy worldly desires, but to translate his infinite love into concrete action. He can care for the poor because he sees God in his eyes. He can heal the suffering because he knows that every soul is a reflection of the Almighty. They can inspire the next generation to instill in them the belief that liberation is real. Yogananda once emphasized, "Do not seek heaven for yourself alone. When you pull a soul up, you are also pulled higher." 4. Your mission, if you are reading this, if you feel that you have passed the final challenges, then understand, that is also the time when your responsibility begins. The responsibility to sow a seed of awakening in every encounter. The responsibility to live as an example of peace, so that others can look at it and be encouraged. The responsibility not only to escape yourself, but also to reach out and pull others out of the darkness. Namaste.